Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So it's time to go through my January TBR as chosen by my TBR game. I'm a booktuber, get me out of here. If this is the first time that you're watching my TBR game, then I will have the playlist linked in the description. The rules are pretty easy to follow, I think. We basically move around the board choosing books as we go, and the number of rolls that it takes to get from start to finish is the number of books that I add to my TBR. Hope that all makes sense. But yeah, going into January, I don't really have any specific plans. I know that I'm going to be filming a lot of end of year content, so I think I'm going to focus on doing like longer reading vlogs that I either post at the end of January or the start of February, or I might decide to not vlog at all. I don't really know what's going to be happening in January, so I don't feel like I need to give much of an introduction. If you are interested in my 2024 general reading goals, then I recently uploaded that video, so I'll leave it linked in the cards and in the description. But otherwise, I am going to stop rambling and we're going to get into the rolls with roll number one. You can kind of tell it's been a while since I last used this TBR game because it's been in the window and it's starting to curl up a little bit around the sides, but we're going to try and ignore that. Let's kick things off with roll number one, which is a 6, a nice high number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's fantasy. Roll number one landed on fantasy, and for this I've gone with Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, which is the first book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, I think is how you pronounce it. I haven't filmed my video yet where I talk about my priority series for 2024, but this is on that list. I've heard amazing things about this series. I think it's going to be a 6-book series, but all of the books, or the series, is split into 3 duologies, and this is the first book that I need to read of the first duology. The main character is the human daughter of the vampire king, and I think there's a deadly tournament that she has to take part in. I have heard that this first book is really addictive and is going to make me want to immediately pick up book 2, so I might end up doing that in January as well. We'll see how my reading goes. Very excited to be starting the series because I know how popular it is, and I've had this downloaded from Kindle Unlimited for months, and I am thinking about cancelling my KU subscription, so I want to make sure I prioritise those books at the start of the year just in case I do end up doing that. Roll number 2 is a 2, 1, 2, which is romance. Roll number 2 landed on romance, and for this I've gone with Flawless by Elsie Silver. I think that's the right book. This is book 1 in the Chestnut Springs series, which is another really popular small town romance series that's available through KU. So as I said, I want to make sure that I'm prioritising those books at the start of this year. Don't know much about this one other than it's about a guy who's a professional bull rider, and I think his agent's daughter ends up having to babysit him because he's kind of out of control and needs to clean up his image, and I think it's a romance between the two of them. From what I've heard, I think most people say that the second book in the series is their favourite, but I want to read the series in order, so it makes sense to start with book 1, even though they're companion novels. Roll number 3 is a 1, which is thriller. Next up we landed on thriller, and for this I've gone with The Devotion of Suspect X by Kigo Higashino. This is translated fiction. It was originally published in Japanese, as you might be able to see on the cover. It was a bestseller. I think this came out a while ago, in like 2005, but I've been really interested in it because I've heard people say this is really clever and unique, and I am on a mission at the moment to try and find more 5-star thrillers, and the fact that this is a crime thriller, that gives me hope that I'm going to love it because I do tend to like crime thrillers. I think this is following a detective who's investigating something. From the back, it says that it's about a woman whose ex-husband appears at her door without warning one evening, and her comfortable world is shattered, and then this detective is trying to piece together the events of that night. Sounds very vague, but I don't want to look too much into it in case I get spoilers. So yeah, hopefully this is going to be a win for me. Roll number 4 is a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is a thriller again. Roll number 4 also landed on thriller, and for this I've gone with What Never Happened by Rachel Housel Hall. This is a fairly new release. I'm pretty sure it came out a few months ago, and it was an Amazon First Reads choice. I want to say it was in October or November, but basically, for anyone who doesn't know, if you have an Amazon Prime account, then every month you get access or early access to new releases for free. You can choose like one book from a selection. I don't know if I've done the best job of explaining that, but every single month I choose my Amazon First Read, and then it sits on my Kindle for years. I have, it must be like 20 books on my Kindle that I got for free, but I haven't got around to reading them yet, so I want to try and clear my backlist. And this sounds interesting. It's following a main character who 20 years ago was the sole survivor of a home invasion. She went away for a while, however she's now returned to her hometown, and I think she gets a job working for the local paper and maybe discovers there's a serial killer in her town. Hopefully this is going to be really gripping and twisty, and I've never read anything by this author before, but I have been interested in their books for a while, so I'm glad to be picking this up in January. Roll number 5 is a 5. That's weird. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is another thriller. For our next roll, we again landed on thriller, and for this I've gone with The Quarry Girls by Jess Lowry, I think is how you pronounce the author's name. This is another book that I got through Amazon First Reads. This is set in a small town in the 1970s, and it's about two best friends who have a secret, and they're vowed never to tell anyone. However, that vow is tested when their friend disappears. She's actually the second girl to vanish in a week, and the police are reluctant to investigate, but I guess our main character ends up doing just that. So yeah, interested to see what I think of this. I like that it has a historical setting because I feel like that's going to be something a little bit different to what I often read in thrillers, and yeah, it has decent ratings on Goodreads, so fingers crossed it works for me. And then this could be our final roll. It's not, it's a 1, which is a challenge. And if I can grab this card, the challenge is, oh, okay, to use an emoji generator. Roll number 6 landed on challenge, and the challenge was emoji generator. So for this, I hope it's self-explanatory, but basically I'm gonna get up an emoji generator on my phone, and whatever emoji it picks for me at random, I'm gonna choose a book based on that emoji. Okay, so hopefully the screen record is working on my phone, but I'm gonna press the randomize button 5 times just to make it fair. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Money. I don't know what I can choose for that. I think this might take me a while to decide, so I'm going to pause recording and have a look and see if I've got something on my Kindle. I think I've just had a brainwave. So I have been wanting to read The Lies of Loch Lamora for the longest time. It was one of my priority series for 2022, and I still haven't got round to it, but I know that this is about a heist. I don't know whether they're actually trying to steal money, but I think of money bags and I think of heists. So I think I'm gonna go with this. It follows a guy called Loch Lamora, and I think he's the leader of a band of brothers known as the Gentleman Bastards. And yeah, I believe that it's a heist story, so very excited to finally be picking this up. I know that the series isn't complete, but I've heard that you can read the books sort of as standalones, or the first book wraps up like a standalone. I might be wrong on that. But yeah, very excited that I managed to fit this on my TBR, because it's a book that I was meant to read in 2022, and then I told myself I was going to read it in 2023, and I still haven't got around to it. So this could be the final roll, and it is. 1, 2. So that does bring me to the end of this video. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Let me know what books are on your January TBR, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and click subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me. But otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye.